Ich bin anders, weil ich kann das is the concluding chapter of the TAXISPALAIS trilogy, focusing on questions of togetherness and the big question of how we can rethink and also live differently discourses and practices around multiple belongings, specifically in the countries of Western Europe. And I did not say the whole title, it's Ich bin anders, weil ich kann das, stranger belongs to me. The first part being a quote from a line from an EsRAP song, which is called Yalla Habibi, and in English it would be something like, I can be different or I can be strange because I know how to do this, or I can be strange because I'm allowed to be like this. So it has several meanings in it, and it's a very precise description of what in the third part that Vazira Zamindar, history professor from the university, from the Brown University in Providence, and I curated together. Our question was, for this last chapter, how can we think of belonging, of forms of belongings which allow for strangeness, and invite everybody to look at the stranger elements within themselves. So that's also what this title is saying. Don't ever say to someone else, you are different, because this is always wrong and it does not make any sense. It's way better if we all look for the stranger elements, for the stranger within us, and let it be part of ourselves.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure to work with Nina on this project. As someone who as a mother who was sending off my sons into the world who have roots in many different parts of the world, including here in Tirol, I wanted them to claim this fullness that comes from multiple belongings, which has been a point of focus for Nina's trilogy. In this specific instance, there was a text I ended up writing for my sons to think about the ways in which the world has been made with nation states and borders as something that's very, very new. It's a very new phenomena, the way we live in the world today. And that there are very old traditions, much older, much longer traditions, by which strangers would, as one of the old ideas, a very old idea, stranger would be welcomed, would be given hospitality, would be given care, would be given love, because the stranger was what led to all inquiry, all seeking, all the realization that what you don't know what you don't know until you have this encounter. I wanted them to understand that we need to remake the world with the stranger as not something to be feared, but rather as a figure that is very, very important to all journeys of self-discovery and all journeys by which we hope to be able to rebuild our world and give it the kind of care we need to for each other, for the kind of future something like that.
And then we started the conversations with different artists, and now this exhibition is composed of the works by 5 artists: Bani, Abidi, Lucas Odahara, Setareh, Shahbazi, EsRAP, and Aziz, Hazara. The exhibition starts with a work by Bani Abidi, a video called The Song, And we all know that sounds and soundscapes which surround us shape our intuition. They help us find a place, our place in the world. They guide us in a certain way even. And this video portrays an elderly man who had to leave his home and now is trying to make an unfamiliar, quiet environment to turn it into something familiar or strangely familiar. So he uses everything he finds in his kitchen, plastic bags, everything which is available to build instruments and sound sculptures. And then he sits with them and he creates the sounds that he's missing. So his longing is actually leading him to invention, and then we can enjoy with him this creativity that allows him for building a complex form of belonging.
Lucas Odahara's storyboard, Nine Halves Cat, is really coming out of a children's book that he wrote for his godchild. But here, that story of the cat that he wrote for the godchild is reworked with stories from his own life into a set of images that are both fragile, vulnerable, as well as deeply sensitive. It is a story of how a whole is always made up of parts. So there is a cat who cannot be assigned a single trait, and her friends are looking for her by trying to identify her through the traits that they have in common with this cat, only to discover at the end that she is all of those traits. In fact, not only all of them, but she is a whole cat, and like any other cat, is sitting on top of a tree and will come down to play with them when she has her community around her.
And the exhibition continues with a work by Setareh Shahbazi, a new work like Lucas' work. These two works were specifically created for the exhibition. In Setareh's space, we are invited to enter a stage, and this stage is like figures a promise. The floor, which is formed of different patterns, and then a wall standing on it, but in an angle, many colors. And this wall has a front and a back side. They look differently. It has also a hole in it, kind of loophole maybe. So we can just move in this space, and we experience bodily a kind of very easy border crossing, constant border crossing, and then this border also somehow disappears because you don't have to choose anymore on which side you want to be. It's very permeable, so being on the one side gives you still the opportunity to flirt with the other side, to connect, to get in connection with the other side. And this is also what we see in the images on the stage. Like, for example, two hands which touch each other, which long for each other, which meet each other, but they don't interlock. We also see an image from a child happy in a community, but this child is also looking out of this community, and it's allowed. So this is also a kind of, the whole space also looks like strangely familiar. There are many different elements in it which we might think of as different, but they have the right to be different and to coexist. And also the past and the future, everything finds place in this. So it's a very complex form of belonging with strangeness, with constant strange elements in different scenarios. And then, of course, we have this golden curtain, which allow us to think, to imagine ourselves also what other forms of togetherness of community we can think of. And then we come to this duo, this Viennese duo, hip-hop duo EsRAP, composed of Ezin Esra and Ezin Özmen, siblings actually, from Vienna, who do this amazing work where they transform the languages that they are working on, mostly German and Turkish, but also Arabic sometimes. And all of these languages are, they are really transformed, poetically transformed. And then the same happens on in the visual and the musical level too. So we have different genres mixed up, and it's just a party of this multiple belongings and of the strangeness, one's own strangeness, which allows for friends, for a community, and for being together while not denying any part of oneself.
Okay, the last work is by Aziz Hazara, and it's called Bow Echo. It's a 5-channel video which brings to us 5 boys who are each trying to stand on top of a hill and blow into a bugle. The wind is very strong against them, and in the backdrop is the western part of Kabul. The wind is really strong against them, and yet they overcome the wind and manage to blow the bugle. And as each one overcomes and fiercely and is determined to do so in blowing the bugle, the work also makes us understand that they are both involved in individual struggle, but also coming together. They are together in this struggle. And when we enter this space in which they are present, we join them in their struggle to make a world, and it is a beautiful piece of world making.